So how are you friends? How are you doing today? Hello Akash, Alan, Anum, Harul, Ashish, Azagiri, Himanshu, Mani, Maruti, Muhammad, Rajiv, Saibal, Sarvan, Satya, Soumya, Shravan, Bimal. So friends, by default, all participants are muted. So please use the chat window to interact with me. I'm just sending a hello message over the chat window. Could you please acknowledge? Thank you. Can you all hear me well? Am I loud and clear? Yes. Thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. So let's get started. So what's the agenda for today? So we're going to talk about these items in this session. For a few minutes, I'm going to talk about Advancer. This session is sponsored by Advancer. I'll talk about this. And so we'll try to understand what is big data. Before that, a quick question to all of you friends. How many of you have experience in big data technologies? Like you know Hadoop. Okay. If you know Hadoop, so please send your response code as hex. If you already know what is Hadoop, but it's at a very high level. If you are new, please send your response as NH. If you are new to Hadoop, if you're new to big data technologies. If you already know, please send your response as H. If you are new to Hadoop, NH. So I get to know the background. All right. So I see there are a lot of NH, NH, so new to Hadoop. All right. So it's important that we all understand what is big data. If you're new to Hadoop, so Hadoop is a system or framework used for managing big data. So we'll understand what is big data, and then we'll take a look at Hadoop and its ecosystem, and then we'll get to the actual agenda. So we are here to understand how we can use Hadoop for analytics. So we'll take a case study that's in the domain of e-commerce. So we'll use one of the tool in the Hadoop ecosystem. That's Hive. So we'll understand how we can use Hive for analyzing the data in the e-commerce domain. And I'll be sharing few interview questions. Later, I'll talk about the career opportunities, because many of you are interested in knowing what are the opportunities out there in the market if I learn Hadoop. So we'll spend some time on that towards the end. So careers in Hadoop, what are the opportunities, and also we'll share you the details of the course that we offer. Certified Hadoop and Big Data Expert course. We'll share you the details of that, and we'll open up the forum for questions. About Advancer. So this session is sponsored by Advancer. Advancer is an IM IT alumni venture where we are creating an analytics knowledge hub intended to meet the learning needs of all analytics and big data professionals. So we are one of the India's top analytics and big data training institutes, as rated by Analytics India magazine and Analytics Vidya. So we have received recognition from reputed magazines. So CIO Review magazine has rated as one of the India's 50 most promising big data companies, and Silicon India Big Data Training Institute of the Year 2015 award was given to us. And so we are specialized in providing online trainings in the analytics and big data space. So you can learn the big data technologies, and you can learn big data analytics anytime and from anywhere using our online training courses. So we have trained over 1,900 people in analytics and big data till date. Okay, about myself, about myself, so I have over 12 years of experience in software development, and I've been associated with big data technologies for more than 5 years now. And and I've worked across various domains, namely media, advertisement, gaming, finance, and I've been part of various big data implementations. Um, and I'm also very passionate about sharing the knowledge that I've gained over the period. So I'll be sharing some of my learnings in this session. And also, I have significant experience in training hundreds of students online, classroom too, till date in Hadoop and big data. And I'm more than happy to solve any of your doubts and queries. Uh, just give me a quick second. So this is me, Karan, big data and Hadoop trainer. You can see that most of my connections, 90% of the 90% of the members, they are uh, the participants who have attended the classes with me. You can connect with any of the connections and definitely get feedback from them. So this is my LinkedIn profile. Uh, I've been sharing my knowledge for more than 3 years now, friends. I'm very passionate about big data technologies. So that's about myself. I'd love to know your background. Due to paucity of the time, will not be able to do that. Uh, but at least I understand the background. Okay, many of you are new to Hadoop, so I'll focus on that area. I'll introduce you to the term big data and then talk about what Hadoop is all about. Okay, so can we get started, friends? Can I get a smiley? Thank you. So what and why of big data and Hadoop? So much buzz about big data. Everyone talks about it, right? Including your CTOs, your peers, technical architects, and you get a lot of emails from a lot of companies like Hortonworks, Cloudera, Data Stacks, and so on. And in fact, you find the mention of big data in many magazines too. Now the question is why there is so much buzz about big data? Why there are a lot of opportunities in the market for big data technologies? Okay. Now let's try to understand the term big data. So here is the most accepted definition. So big data is the data which is very large in size. The size can vary from 700 gigabytes to 700 terabytes to several petabytes. It is the data which is generated very fast. Uh, Example, many of you watch your television every day. You watch these news channels. Uh, so there you would see the trending hashtags, the trending news items. So there, in order to come up with the trending tags, they process millions of tweets per second. This Twitter has millions of users uh, who keep sending tweets. So if you look at the per second, so millions of tweets are generated. So that refers to the velocity. That is, it is a data which is generated very fast. And big data is the data which exists in various forms. It can exist in structured form, which we are all familiar with. This is the data that we store in relational database systems, like the data that we store in ERP systems, CRM systems. And big data can exist in unstructured and semi-structured form, like XML, JSON, your audio files, video files, and so on. And big data is the data which cannot be managed using traditional tools and techniques. Like you cannot manage big data using an RDBMS. You cannot really process big data using the normal ETL techniques. Like for ETL jobs, generally you write a C++ program or a Perl program. So big data cannot be really processed using those standard tools and techniques. So this kind of data is what we call as big data. Now, having understood the definition of big data, so where is it really getting generated? Is it really getting generated? I mean, that's one of the questions naturally we'll have. Yes, big data is indeed getting generated at different sources. So Facebook is one of the popular source. Why so? Because Facebook has the number of users, registered users. So Facebook has more than 1 billion users, out of which 300 million, 300 to 350 million users will be active at any point of time every day. And these users do a lot of activity, like they like some of the posts, they upload photos, they upload videos, they send messages. Okay. Because of this, a lot of data is generated. You can see Facebook on a daily basis, they process around 600 terabyte of data. And they store 120 petabyte of data on the Hadoop cluster. Yeah, this is one of the example. Here is another example. This is Walmart. So Walmart is one of the biggest retail chain in United States. They have their presence in the rest of the world too. And they also have millions of customers. You can see 200 million weekly customers across 10,000 stores in 27 countries. So what this means to us? This means a lot of data is generated. You can see 1.5 million customer transactions every hour, and 3 petabyte of data is stored in Walmart's Hadoop cluster. So here's another example. So this is in the retail space. Then you would be having question. So, okay. And if you have to work on big data, then do we need to work for either Walmart or Facebook? Not necessarily. I mean, these are just some of the sources of big data. Big data is generated in all sectors. Okay. Let me share some more examples so that we are all clear on that part. Most of us use smartphones. Yes, no, friends. You're all connected to internet. Yes. So we live in the world of IoT. It's a very popular term these days. IoT, Internet of Things. So what does that mean? That means we are all connected to the network through devices. So we use some smart applications. Smartphone is just an example. So on the smartphone, you have a lot of apps installed. So these apps, what do? They record the events that you perform. Okay. So when you use, okay, so these apps, so they record the events that you do while using the app. Okay. For example, many of you like playing games. You install Angry Bird or some other game. So when you install the game on your cell phone, when you play the game, so app records every activity, like the tutorial you complete, the levels you complete, the purchases you make in that game while using the game, and the amount of time you spend. Every event will be recorded and it will be sent to a data collection server where it will be persisted in a big data store like Hadoop. And these gaming companies do analytics to find out the customer experience. Okay, it's not just limited to the gaming companies. In fact, many of the apps that you use, they record the event, anything that you do in that app. Okay. So that we call as this event collection and sending it to the server. So we call that as clickstream. Clickstream is nothing but the collection of events, right, done by the users by using the application. So that's about the sources, friends. So moving on. So Akash says, what is IoT? Yes, yes. It's a very popular term. I'm not sure. I thought many of you know about it. This is Internet of Things. IoT, Akash? It's Internet of Things. That means we are all connected to the network through devices. For example, you can switch off air conditioner in your room, right, in your house, sitting in office. This is because of the penetration of internet and also the people using smartphones. The number has increased. Now, at least in India, we have more than 10% of the population using smartphones. Smartphones are getting cheaper, and that's the reason why. So many of the uh, many of the companies, especially the e-commerce giants, so they are having a stiff competition because they want to capture market. Let's continue. So friends, can you all hear me well? So one of our friends is having problem. Sarvan says he has problem with audio. Am I audible? Okay. Yeah. If you face any problem, do send me a message over the chat window, friends. Yeah. If in case if you run into issues, please rejoin. All right. Now let's talk about what is Hadoop. Okay, we understood the definition of big data, right? Which has three dimensions: volume, velocity, and variety. Now let's try to understand what is Hadoop. Okay, so why do we need a Hadoop for managing big data? So Hadoop is an open source project from Apache Software Foundation. Hadoop provides a software framework for distributing and running data management and processing applications on a cluster of servers. So Hadoop provides us a distributed data storage component and distributed processing component. So Hadoop is a distributed system. When we set up Hadoop, we set up Hadoop on a cluster. So when we store data, our data gets distributed across multiple nodes in the servers, in the cluster, and in turn, it provides us a scalable storage. Since Hadoop is a distributed system, so we can scale the cluster horizontally and we can store several petabytes of data. And one of the USP, the unique selling point of Hadoop is Hadoop can be set up on commodity hardware. Okay. So commodity hardware is a hardware which is inexpensive and it's a hardware which we can buy from multiple vendors in the market. So Hadoop is inspired by Google's MapReduce programming model called a MapReduce, as well as its file system that's a GFS, Google file system. So Google released white papers around 2004, two white papers. One was on data processing. It's called as Google MapReduce. Other one was a distributed file system. It's called as GFS. So these white papers are available on the net if you are interested. If you are interested, you can read these white papers. So these white papers influenced the development of Hadoop. It was a team headed by Mr. Darketing, the team which was working on the Notch. So they used some of the features in the white papers in the Notch project. Later, so they created a separate project for Hadoop, and then they released it to Apache. It became one of the top level projects. The Hadoop is an open source framework. The Hadoop efficiently stores and manages large volumes of structured and unstructured data on a cluster of commodity hardware. So plain and simple, rather than banging away at one huge block of data on a single machine, Hadoop breaks up the data into multiple parts, so each part can be processed and analyzed at the same time. So what does this mean? So this means so what this means? So this means, so let's say this is a distributed system. Okay. So this is the file. So this file, when it is stored, it will get distributed across. It will be split into blocks, and the blocks will get distributed across multiple nodes. So when you process this file, so these blocks will be processed parallelly. So this processing is done by the data processing engine, that is MapReduce. So MapReduce is a data processing engine used by Hadoop for processing data parallelly. So Hadoop can be set up on a single machine also, but it can be scaled from a single machine to 1,000 nodes on the fly. So we don't have to bring down the cluster for scaling the Hadoop cluster. So Hadoop consists of two key parts. One is the file system, which is a distributed file system. We call it as HDFS. Other one is the MapReduce, which is the data processing component. The Hadoop architecture, we look at the core. Hadoop supports two components, right? One is a storage component, which we call it as HDFS, and the other one is the processing component, which is called as MapReduce. Okay. So this is in Hadoop 1.0. So there is one more, the later versions of Hadoop. So Hadoop 2.0. Okay. So there we have the storage component, that is HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, and then we have the resource management component, that is YARN. So YARN stands for yet another resource negotiator. So this is the resource management component of Hadoop. Okay. So the difference between 1.0 and 2.0 is, so in Hadoop 1.0, the only data processing engine available for processing data is MapReduce. So whereas, and in 1.0, this MapReduce, the data processing component of Hadoop, it was performing two functions. One, data processing itself, that is managing the application lifecycle. Second, it was managing the cluster resources. So it was managing the cluster resources. It was managing data processing and it was managing cluster resources. So in 2.0, this cluster resource management has been was separated and new component was created. So YARN takes care of that. YARN just manages the cluster resources. It allocates resources or provisions resources for running different type of distributed applications. Now on top of YARN, so we run the MapReduce application in Hadoop 2.0. Okay. So these components, the MapReduce, right, HDFS, YARN, so all these components follow master-slave architecture in Hadoop. So master will manage the cluster. Basically, it manages all the slaves. Slaves are the actual workers. Okay. Coming to the HDFS, the master is called as name node, okay, and the slaves are called as data nodes. So when we store the data, so our data will be split into blocks, and the blocks will be stored on the data nodes. And the name node will maintain only the metadata information, like what's a file name, what blocks, on which data node blocks are stored. This information is maintained in the name node. And we have a secondary master. So for HDFS, the secondary master takes the backup of the metadata that is stored in the name node. So that is HDFS. So HDFS follows master-slave architecture, where master is name node, slaves are data nodes. Name node maintains the metadata, data nodes actually store the actual blocks. And then you have YARN. So YARN in Hadoop 2.0, it again follows master-slave architecture, where the master is a resource manager and slaves are called as slave processors are the workers. We call them as node managers. On each slave machine, we'll have a node manager running. And in 1.0, the MapReduce the component of Hadoop. So the master is called as a job tracker. Just be familiar with these names. And the workers, the slaves, are called as task trackers. So in any distributed application, I mean, if they follow master-slave architecture, if they follow master-slave architecture, there will be many slaves, many workers in the system, and there will be one master. Similarly, in Hadoop also, there will be one master for HDFS, that is name node, one master for MapReduce, that is job tracker, one master for YARN, that is resource manager. So Hadoop follows a master-slave architecture. Now let's take a quick look at the Hadoop ecosystem. So what are the other components which are built around the the core components of Hadoop. The two core components of Hadoop are the storage and the processing. Storage is HDFS, processing is MapReduce. Okay. Now let's take a look at what are the other sub projects built around these core components. So we'll put them into different categories and understand. First is storage. For storing enormous amount of data, structured, unstructured, semi-structured data, so we use HDFS. Hadoop distributed file system, we use these file systems to store enormous amount of structured, unstructured, semi-structured data. And then the next category is processing. So there are different tools available in Hadoop ecosystem that we use for processing data. One is MapReduce. So when we use the MapReduce framework, we build the MapReduce programs in Java, or we can use the abstractions that are built around Hadoop. One is Hive. So Hive gives us a language which is called as Hive query language, which is a dialect of SQL. So you can use SQL for analyzing the data that is stored in HDFS, or you can Pig, or you can use Pig, which is a data flow system built on top of Hadoop for data analysis. You can use either Hive, Pig, MapReduce for processing. So Mahout is another component in the Hadoop ecosystem which we can use to run machine learning algorithms. Like what is machine learning? Machine learning is a field of study in the computer science where we learn about building applications or programs whose behavior will be dependent on the data that is fed to those programs. Example for machine learning algorithm, use spam filtering. So many of the email applications come with a spam filtering feature. So for filtering the spam in your inbox, you mark some emails as spam. So what that component does, the spam filtering component, it will look for a pattern from that point onwards, and wherever there is a match, so it filters them and puts them in the junk inbox. So that is Mahout. So Mahout has a collection of machine learning algorithms. If you are familiar with supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and algorithms like K-means, naive Bayes, you can use Mahout. So Mahout is used for predictive analytics to run machine learning algorithms. So that's about data processing. There are tools that we use for importing and exporting data. Third, import and export. You will have a requirement to get the data from external sources into Hadoop for data analysis. So how do we get the data? We can use Scoop. We can use Scoop to get the structured data from relational database systems. You can use Scoop for importing the data from an RDBMS or exporting the data into RDBMS. Or if you want to collect streaming data, so what is streaming data? It's a data which is continuously generated. Like you have web server where the log files are continuously created. You want to ingest that into Hadoop for data analysis. So you can use Flume. Flume is a data collection agent used for collecting streaming data. So these are the tools. Scoop and Flume are the tools used for importing and exporting data. And then the fourth category is the tool used for workflow management. So what's a workflow? Workflow is a collection of jobs or tasks that needs to be executed in the order specified by the user. Okay. So all the jobs in a workflow will have a dependency. Like, you want to run these jobs in order. Run job 1, job 2, job 3, so on. And you want to run job 2 only when the job 1 completes. So you want to create this kind of dependency and get these jobs executed in the order, then you have to create workflow. So Apache Uzi is a workflow management tool available in the Hadoop, which we can use to create workflow of Hadoop jobs. You can not only create workflow, you can also schedule the workflow using OZ. So that's about workflow. And then there is one more tool in the Hadoop ecosystem that is which is a NoSQL store, that is HBase. HBase is a NoSQL store which is built on Hadoop. So HBase uses HDFS for persisting the table data. So you go for HBase when you want to store billions of records and you want to do a lookup by the primary keys, the row keys. So you can go for HBase. So HBase gives you performance and scalability for if you need that in some real-time applications. All these applications that we see, friends, all these tools, HDFS, MapReduce, HBase, Hive, more. So all these tools are built using Java, and these are open source tools. None of the tool here is a proprietary or commercial. Now here's the one good question from our friend. So if Apache is open source, what Hortonworks Cloudera provides? Okay, I'll explain that. So in the Linux, there are different distributions like Red Hat, CentOS, Ubuntu. Okay, so what are those? There are different flavors of Linux. Similarly, but the core remains same. It was a basic Linux operating system on top of which these distributions are built. So similarly, so what these companies do, vendors like Hortonworks, MapR, Cloudera, so they have taken the Apache version and so they have bundled all the components together. They call it as an enterprise distribution, so which you can readily use it in production and deploy it in production. And also they provide support. If you run into issues while using those distributions, they will provide support and they will help companies in doing the setting up the Hadoop cluster, and also they provide training. So this is some notes. This presentation will be shared with you. You can take a look at this. Now, coming to the actual agenda, you are interested in knowing how to do analytics using Hadoop. So in this session, we're going to use Hive. So what is Hive? So Hive is a data warehouse infrastructure built on top of Hadoop. So what's a data warehouse? So what's a data warehouse? So data warehouse is a store where we store the data that we collect from different sources. So what we do, we collect different data from different sources. Right? Sources can be internal, external, and we run ETL jobs, and the processed data we load it into data warehouse. And data warehouse, generally what we do, we generate reports, and we use visualization tools for creating charts. Okay. So Hive is a data warehouse infrastructure built on top of Hadoop, which compiles SQL queries into MapReduce jobs and run the jobs in the Hadoop cluster. Okay. Like if you do not really want to build MapReduce jobs in Java, so what we can do, we can use Hive. So Hive provides us a high query language, which is a dialect of SQL. So you can use SQL for doing the data analysis in Hadoop. So it provides high query language, which is similar to SQL, and it hides the Hadoop complexity. Like it hides the complexity of building the MapReduce job. And what's a data warehouse? It's a database used for analysis and reporting purpose. So here's a Hive architecture. So Hive is built on Hadoop. So you can see Hadoop is a backbone for Hive, because Hive uses the storage, that is HDFS, for storing the table data, and it uses MapReduce as a processing engine. So Hadoop is a backend for Hive. It's a backbone. And if you look at Hive, so there are different ways in which we can submit our queries. Okay. In this session, we're going to use it. So we're going to use this command line interface, CLI. It's also called as Hive shell. So we can use a Hive shell to submit our queries. or we can use a web interface. This is called as beeswax. So using this web UI, we can submit queries, or we can submit remotely from a Java program or other programs using the JDBC ODBC driver. So here you need a Hive server, which internally uses the Thrift protocol for converting the SQL queries into MapReduce jobs. And then so components, all these components like command line shell or a web interface or a Thrift server, so they use a driver instance. So this driver is the one which actually compiles SQL queries into MapReduce job. Okay. So driver has a compiler which compiles the SQL into MapReduce jobs, and there's an optimizer which optimizes the MapReduce jobs generated, and there's an executor which gets the MapReduce jobs executed on the Hadoop cluster. So this driver uses metastore to persist the table, to persist the table schema information. So this is about the architecture of Hive. Now we'll directly get to the use case, friends. So the Hadoop use case in the e-commerce space, Hadoop use case in the e-commerce space. Let me talk about this use case. How many of us buy products online, friends? How many of you use? How many of you use Flipkart, Amazon? Do you? Okay. So we'll do some interesting analysis here. So whenever we click on a link, let me click on some link here. Say mobiles, Samsung. So you see this, a request will be sent to the server. So that is the web server will receive the request and it will send the response back. And you can see this, the URL. So when we click on that link, this is the URL that was sent. The request that was in the request that was sent, this is the URL that was sent. So you can see this is the category. It is mobile phones, and some other information is part of the URL. Now let me show you a sample log. Okay. So let me show you a sample log file here. I'm just putting my virtual machine, friends. I'm going to use this virtual machine for the demo today. So here, let me show you the log file. So this is the log file, friends. So you can see what it has. So this is the IP from where the request came from. Okay. So what is this log file? This is a log file that's created by the web server. Every request that's sent to the server, it will be recorded, the log file. And this is the date and time. And look at this HTTP method, get our, okay. So get our post, right? And then, so this is the URL that user is trying to access. category is a digital camera. So in what we click, we saw mobiles, right? So there can be many categories: digital cameras, home appliances, so on. And this is a subcategory. And then this is a product that user is looking at. And this is the HTTP method, status code, and so on. Okay, this is the client information, what kind of browser he uses. So what kind of data is it, friends? Is it structured or unstructured data? So this data, is it structured or unstructured? So this is unstructured data. We are going to analyze this data. So what is the analysis that we are going to do? So we're gonna see what products the users are looking at, and that insight, how that insight will help the business. So that will help the business to customize this landing page. Okay. If it's summer, definitely people, when customers will look for some products that they use in the summertime. Okay. So how they will get to know that information? It's by looking. It's by looking at the logs, okay, and finding out what products the users are looking at. Now let's see how we can do that analysis. Yep. So what are we going to do? So we're going to find out, we're going to analyze the data and find out what type of products users are looking at. We're going to see what categories. Okay. Whether are they looking at televisions, home appliances, or women wear, men wear, kids wear, so on. So this analysis we will do using Hive. So let me show you that. So this is the Hive query, friends. You can see this. It's almost if you look at count the number of lines, so you have maybe around 12, 13 lines of code. That's it. So what this does, we create a database. There is some customized jar file that we are using. So this jar file is, we use it only sometimes when you deal with unstructured data. And this is you creating the table, then loading the data, and this is select query. So the details will go in the regular course. Now I just want to show you how we do the analysis. This is a simple script that I have written for finding that information. What are the categories that users are looking at? Now let's run the query. So this is how we execute it, friends. I'm going to execute a script. You can see that our queries are getting executed. First was First was registering a jar, then creating a table and loading the data. And here is where the processing is happening. Our queries are converted to MapReduce jobs. You can see that here 3 MapReduce jobs are created. All right, friends. So here you can see the result after the execution of the query. You can see this is the top 5 products that users are looking at. Top 5 categories. So users are looking at home appliances, followed by computers, audios, mobiles. Okay. So what this info inside tells us. Okay. So this tells us that users are interested in home appliances. So what business can do is they can customize the landing page uh, to show the products that are part of this category. So this is a simple analysis that we did using one of the tools in the Hadoop ecosystem. So that is Hive. Mani says, is it log file, big log file? Yes, Mani. Because here I'm running not on a remote cluster. This is just a virtual machine. I'm playing it locally. This is not a big cluster, Mani. This I have set up as it's just a single node cluster. This is running in pseudo distributed mode. So we have all the daemons running on the same machine. Okay. When we run in a distributed mode, so our data will be distributed across multiple nodes, and the processing will happen sooner. So you can use Hadoop and find out what customers are buying and find out their shopping pattern, and also you can measure the performance of the various promotions that you have. Okay. Like promotions like you can see this. So these are all the promotions. Now, in order to find out how many really clicks happen, how many of these promotions people are liking, are they really clicking on it? And the way to find it out is this: any click that user does, it will be recorded in the weblog. So by analyzing the weblogs, we can find out how effective the promotion was, or did it really catch few customers' attention. Just give me a few seconds. Friends, please give us a few minutes. Abhishek says, will I be sharing the presentation? Yes, we will share the presentation, and this session is recorded, and this will also be shared with all participants, Abhishek. Now, Hadoop, let me just quickly talk about some of the Hadoop use cases. This is in the retail space, like one of the leading retail giant in India, how they use Hadoop. So they get 100 gigabyte of invoice data daily, and the data format is XML. And this invoice data needs to be transformed into structured format, and they have to do a lot of validation, verification, and they validate the data against a lot of business rules. So earlier they were using C, Perl. So using these tools, so it was taking around 10 hours to complete the processing every day. When they moved to Hadoop, when they started using Hadoop, when they used the 10 node cluster, they were able to do the processing in 1 hour time. Uh, so here, so how they were able to achieve this? They were able to achieve this because in the traditional approach, so the processing was happening sequentially. So when they use Hadoop, when you load the data gets distributed across multiple nodes, and your data is processed parallelly. Okay? So here it is sequential processing, here it is a parallel processing, and hence the processing is done sooner here when we use the Hadoop system. Okay. So interview questions. So these are some of the interview questions on Hive. So what is Hive Metastore, and what's the difference between sort by and order by class in a Hive? Okay. So these things, if you join the course, we will be sharing more details. So one line answer. Okay. Sort by, it does the sorting by reducer. So order by, it's a global sorting is enabled. So all the records will be assigned to one reducer, and the records will be sorted the entire data. And the next question, wherever you run the Hive query, the first it creates a Metastore DB Y. So this is in embedded mode. So Derby uses this. Okay. So again, we'll share the details in the regular course. And which are the different Hive Metastore configuration? In one of the slides, you looked at the Hive architecture where the driver interacts with the Metastore. So Metastore we can configure in different modes. One, we can have an embedded Metastore. Two, we can have a remote Metastore. And how do we do that configuration? Those details will be shared in the regular session. Now we're gonna talk about the careers in the Hadoop and big data space. And I'll request our team member Lalit to give insight into these aspects. So please wait for a few seconds.
Hi Karan, just give me a minute. I'm still downloading some files. Hi guys, just hold on for a minute. I'll be live in once I'm done with the file. Okay. Just a minute, guys. In the meantime, if you guys have any question, I think Karan is around for a few minutes. You can ask and just let me take care of this in a few seconds.
So here I see a few questions. Pooja says, I come from a non-IT background. I'm marketing communication professional. So far, I could understand things. Will I be able to learn big data analysis? Okay. So Pooja, for you, it depends on the amount of effort you can really put in. If you have experience in any of the programming languages, at least if you like uh, writing programs using programming languages like C, C++, Perl, okay, any of the programming knowledge, then you can easily pick up Hadoop. Pooja, it's not really that hard because when you build MapReduce jobs, we use Java. Java is an object-oriented programming language that can use to build enterprise applications. Hadoop uses Java. So if you join our course, we will be providing a free Java tutorial too. It's a video tutorial, so you can go through those video tutorials and you can complete them. You can get yourself familiar with the Java, and if you and also if you're familiar with SQL, so that will also help you, Pooja. Yeah. Uh, so the short answer is yes, provided if you are ready to work hard for the next 2 months, you can definitely switch your career to big data. Few seconds, friends.
Yeah, Karan, I do have the file. I guess I can go online now. Thank you, Karan. Thank you so much for your time. Guys, Karan has to step out. I'll take over for the discussion on careers in Hadoop and big data. Just a minute, guys. Guys, are you able to see my screen now? Yeah? Okay, cool. So I hope you had a wonderful session with Karan and he talked about what Hadoop is and went through a demo session as well. Now let's discuss how careers, how Hadoop and big data technologies are faring in terms of career opportunities. Before I continue with this, are you guys able to hear me properly as well? Voice is not clear? Okay, just a minute, guys. Let me see few of my settings. Give me a minute. Rajiv is the voice still an issue? Hello. Okay, better. Cool. Yeah. So we were discussing how Hadoop and big data technologies are faring in terms of careers now. Now, as all of you know, that and the way we discussed in this session also, that amount of data which is being captured is huge these days, both because of the way technology has advanced and both on the companies front as well as on the consumer fronts. We are using our cell phones to buy our smartphones to buy things, interact with apps and so on. So huge amount of data is being generated as well as collected at the companies, and because of the advancement in the technologies, the storage is much cheaper, more efficient to process and so on. And it is expected that in next 5 years, half the world's data will be managed and analyzed using Hadoop. It's a necessity now because the captive data for one company now it's easily goes into petabytes or terabytes. Terabytes is a small number actually in comparison to the kind of data that each of the companies are generating. In many cases, in fact, the petabytes of data are being generated in a very short span of time now. Hadoop is augmenting or replacing the legacy data system across many companies. Not only because of the ease of implementation, but also uh, how Hadoop systems can be implemented, without putting an extra burden on the requirement of hardware. That is, IDC predicts big data market revenue will grow at 26% a year, reaching the USD 41.5 billion mark in 2018. And that particular prediction was I would say not really new. If you update this, these numbers are going to be even bigger. New technology means people with new skill, meaning these are the needs that we are talking about. Hadoop is going to be needed this much, but there are very rather fewer number of people who can help companies in reaching there. And therein you come in, people who are interested in these technologies, and we come in who can enable you to be part of this change. These are the job trends in Hadoop. So You can see that when big data and data analytics in general started to kick in, how sharp increase big data and Hadoop technologies have seen since 2009, or rather, beginning of since 2009. And that data is only from Indeed.com. Those are not the entirety of jobs that you have in big data scenario. These are the salaries in big data and Hadoop technologies. As if you're starting your career, you will be getting jobs anywhere between 5 to 6 lakhs, between 3 to 6, and subsequently you can see the growth in career is huge. Also, as an this is just a very simplified picture of the salaries. Of course, as you progress, your not only the skill set in terms of technology that you possess, what kind of job experiences you are gathering along the way also matters. Okay. Companies which are hiring in Hadoop, the analytics outsourcing companies are the obvious ones because everyone is now being required to work with big data. IT companies, retail companies, consultants, every you just name an industry and you will find either people are using Hadoop technologies to manage their big data set, or they are planning to or moving towards that, building those capabilities. By no means this is an exhaustive list, let me tell you that. We are listing just few well-known brands here. There are tons of companies out there opening every day which are majorly dealing with big data or moving towards that acquisition of that technology. Yeah. And now it's not that this is a very much technology driven. Yes, of course, you would need a few programming skills and so on, but with the advent of Hadoop, things handling big data has become much easier also. One of the reasons why more and more companies and people are moving into that field. The course details that we are offering, it's titled Fundamental Course in Hadoop and Big Data, where the methodology of delivering this course is totally hands-on. It's not that you will be simply looking at the presentation and that's all, as we will be going through live case studies, implementation, helping you with installation and so on. You will learn to manage, process and analyze structured as well as unstructured data. You will be working on a project at the end of the course and get certified. So it's not that you just simply attend the classes and we will give you a certification. The people who successfully go through the project, that is to ensure that people who we certify eventually are proficient in the Hadoop and big data technologies. And that is one of the key aspect of this course has been which enables you to become job ready when it comes to Hadoop, becoming a Hadoop professionals. It's a 36 hours live instructor led training delivered by highly experienced Hadoop experts, as Karan discussed. The course is totally online. We do not have a physical classroom. You can attend it from anywhere at your home, office, or any other place that you prefer. All that you need is an internet connection. uh, uh, Today's session, we had larger number of audiences. That's why we are not enabling voice access. Otherwise, in the live classes, we have a smaller number of people, 15 to 20 batch strength. We do enable voice access, video as well as chat. You can interact live with the instructor, resolve your issues, and you can do that. You don't have to travel. You can stay at home, stay at office, or any other place of your choice. Also, just in case, although we don't advise you to miss sessions, but all of many of you are working professionals. Many a times it happens that you have other engagements and you're not able to attend some of these sessions. You will on the learning management system, you will also have access to recorded sessions, which then you can go through in case you end up missing any of these sessions. Uh, the course fee for this is 25,000 rupees and plus taxes till 17th Feb. However, you can avail the course for 16,990 rupees only. To enroll in the course, you need to go to this URL given here. I'll post it in chat also. Just give me a minute. You can go through this URL. You might have received this over the email as well. You can use this to enroll in our course. The outline of the courses will start from we do provide you, if you're not proficient in Java yet, we provide 8 hours of self-paced videos to become proficient in Java. Then we start with what is big data and why Hadoop. We go through HDFS and Hadoop cluster setup configuration. We introduce you to MapReduce through a workshop, talk about advanced MapReduce concepts. Then different components in the Hadoop ecosystem. We introduce you to Pig, Hive, Scoop, Flume, NoSQL databases, Zookeeper, Uzu, and we conclude the session with talking about Hadoop 2.0 and Yarn. The result of at the end of this course, you will be proficient at managing, processing, and analyzing large amount of structured and unstructured data. How will you become proficient? Because the course is very hands-on. We focus on the practical skills. We do not expect you to sit there and just listen to the instructor. We expect you to work on the technologies that you're learning hands-on. That's the best way to learn any tool. To learn a tool, you've got to work on it, and we are going to help you with that. You At the end of the course, when you successfully complete the project, will get a certification which is accepted and acknowledged in the industry. And of course, this certification is going to enable you to enter the high growth big data industry, which we just talked about. This is what your certificate is going to look like. These are, I'll give you a minute to go through these few of these testimonials of our previous students. And if you want to get in touch with any of our previous students before you make a decision to join our course, feel free to drop us a mail, and we'll happily connect you with any of our previous students. Thank you, and now over to you. Since Karan has stepped out, I won't be able to answer any technical questions if you have. So for that, you can drop us a mail to info@advancer.in. I'll very happily redirect that to Karan, and I'll get your question answered. If you have any questions regarding any other aspect of the course, I'll be happy to help you out here. Anyone? If you have any So Akash, you're asking core Java or advanced Java. Uh, The level of Java skills that you require, we will be helping you with it through a self-paced version. If you are already proficient, it's all right. It's a plus. But if you're not, don't worry about it. We'll be helping you out with our self-paced videos for that. Vignesh, okay, I'll answer your question. Can my question be sorry, Vignesh, you are currently a middleware administration. Should I take up only Hadoop admin training or Hadoop development? Can I manage to work? Vignesh, I will, since I'm not sure whether Karan has answered a question already. If he hasn't, please drop us a mail here at info@advancer.in. These questions which have to do with Hadoop technology and ecosystem in general, Karan will be the best person to answer those. Any questions about the course timings, or we'll surely let you know, Vignesh. If we plan another webinar. If you have missed, don't worry about it. You'll be getting the recording of the session, link for the recording of this session anyway. So you can go through the session, and if then you have any question, feel free to drop us a mail. Rohit, you're saying I have completed Java course, so will it be right choice for me to enter into Hadoop profession? Yes, if working with data fascinates you, definitely is a good choice because you already have Java proficiency, which is the level of proficiency which is required for working with this technology. I think this will be a good decision to go for this. Ellen, you're asking, as a Linux server admin, will learning Hadoop change my career from Linux totally? Well, in my own experience, I don't think so. But I guess again, to get a totally a detailed answer to this, I'll request you to drop a mail to info@advanced.in. Also, you might have to elaborate a little on what you mean by changing your career from Linux totally. Are you asking that whether you'll be able to work with Hadoop and Linux together? If that is the question, of course, yes. So, Hadoop is independent of what OS you are working with it. Any other course specific in terms of cost or timings or LMS? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Uh, Salma, you're saying you did not do Java course yet, and you're not interested in Java, but you're interested in Hadoop. See, Salma, you will. S- it's not that you need to be very proficient in Java to handle Hadoop technologies, but yes, you will need to be familiar with the language Java is in general. You cannot altogether avoid this. Okay, and if you're familiar with any other programming languages, getting proficient with the Java will not be a challenge. And we do provide with this course, we provide 8 hours of self-paced videos to get yourself on the same page at the same level of Java which is required for this. So that will come with this course, and you can do that before the session starts. So just to reiterate, Salma, you cannot do entirely without Java. Okay, so if you are familiar with Python, I think learning Java won't be a challenge. So if that is holding you back, don't worry about it. You don't need to go very deep in Java. You don't have to become proficient Java developer as such. But yes, you would need to be familiar with the language syntax, and will help you in doing that. So if that is one of your concern, don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay, guys. I don't see any more question. We'll conclude here. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope we help you with the information to take the right decision. Do get it. Use the URL which I've shared with you for enrolling in the course. If you have any questions, any queries, feel free to drop us a mail on info@advancer.in. You will be receiving recorded version of this session. Feel free to share it with anyone whom you think will be interested, and you can ask them to get in touch with us, and we'll take it from there. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your patience. Bye bye. Just there is one question from Rohit before I stop this. Rohit, you're saying if you spend 1 2 years in Java profession and then go for the Hadoop, then will that previous experience will be counted? See, it will be counted in the sense that the underlying techniques that you work with, which you learn while you're working on developing softwares, these are independent of what language you work with, right? So of course that will be taken into account. And since Hadoop, while you're working with Hadoop, you will be writing your codes in Java syntax. Of course, it's going to matter. Yes, I hope that answer your questions. Yeah. Course fee for the course, Maruti, is 16,990 till just a minute, till 17th Feb, and post that it'll be 25,000 for one match. Yeah, per person. We are starting the batch on 27th Feb. Until 17th Feb, you can avail the course for 16,990 rupees. Just to reiterate, the course will be the timing for the course is going to be 9 to 12 in the morning IST, and the classes are going to be held on each Saturday and Sunday over the weekend for 6 weekends, because the course is total 36 hours. The course that we have is for Hadoop, Hadoop and big data experts. Mariti, you're asking Hadoop administration, different classes. Just a minute. Okay, Maruti, I think if you're talking about different technologies which will be needed for Hadoop administration, do we do a course which involves discussion on technologies that we mentioned here? This is the only Hadoop course that we have, and we don't have any other course which talks about uh, other technologies that you might be referring to. Okay, so this is the only course that we have, and these are the technologies that we cover. Yeah. Okay, guys, we'll wrap up now. Use this URL advancer.in/course/big data Hadoop training to enroll in our courses. If you have any other doubts, you want to clarify any technical questions or otherwise, feel free to drop us a mail on info@advancer.in. We'll take it from there. Okay, thank you so much. And closing the session now.